My name is Dan Dorval, and I'm President and CEO of Dorval and Cherney Financial Advisors. I am an independent certified financial planner and author of my book, Financial Success for the Rest of Us, Reality-Based Financial Planning for Mainstream America.
Hi, my name is Leah Woodley. I'm an associate financial advisor with Dorval and Cherney Financial Advisors. Our conversations discuss what it means to do quality of life planning in all areas of your life.
When it comes to the ultra high net worth and those who may not be in that situation, how do things differ when it comes to insurance and estate planning? Because oftentimes I see, especially online, oh, the wealthy have these permanent policies, the wealthy have trust. That's what I need to do. So, how do things differ?
So in many cases, if you're very high net worth, you probably have a team of professionals. You might have a dedicated estate attorney, you might have a dedicated CPA, then of course you might have a financial advisor who's maybe quarterbacking that whole team. And getting all of those people on the same page, the tax person comes at everything from a tax perspective, the estate attorney comes at everything from the estate planning perspective, the advisor hopefully is taking a bigger picture approach, but in many cases it's being driven by people who are focused on one thing at a time. So, when we talk about things like insurance, for example, if you go talk to an insurance agent, I mean, they have a solution to everything. Permanent life insurance is going to solve everything, but they're also getting a commission in most cases for doing that, and it can be a very large commission depending on the type of policy. So if I am focused entirely on getting tax-free money to my heirs, I might use life insurance as a very valuable tool as a high net worth individual. And I don't care that I committed a lot of resources to doing that because I don't need it for day to day quality of life. Now, if someone who needs that money tries to follow the same technique and they look at this policy that maybe is being sold to them through their insurance person, their estate planning person, and they go, well, now I have to commit so much in resources to make sure this policy works, it's affecting my ability to sustain my income day to day. Well, what's a bigger priority for you? Is it leaving the money to the heirs, or is it actually living day to day? And in most cases, that comes down to how much do you have, and then how much, more importantly, do you need in order to maintain quality of life?
I know with the ultra high net worth and the high net worth individuals, it's really important that in some cases that those assets are passed on through the family. How do you get other family members on board with what is going on with the overall financial plan, especially children?
Yeah, it's one of the toughest things for many families is, well, balancing out how do we want to leave this to our heirs? How do we involve kids? I'll tell you, prior generations were generally very secretive about their financial situation. And so many families come to us and go, mom and dad passed away. They were always very frugal. And it turns out they had $10 million in their estate. We had no idea because they never told us of what was going on. And now I think you're seeing more families open up about that. But in most cases for us, we will try to have a meeting where we engage certainly the kids, maybe not grandkids, but the kids might be involved in a family meeting. And we will try to explain to them, okay, this is the situation. These are the planning techniques your parents are using. And how does that apply to you? Because if mom and dad get sick, maybe they end up in a nursing home, they're not handling their finances anymore. And usually one of their kids or a trusted family member is going to be helping them. You must communicate with those individuals so that they understand exactly what's going on. I will say, Leah, that one of the things we see all the time is families will have these very complicated trusts that were created by attorneys. And they come in when something has happened. So mom or dad has passed away, they created a trust. Maybe they did some very good planning ahead of time, but now nobody has a clue how any of this stuff works. And we'll reach out to the attorney and we'll say, okay, you drafted this document. What are the tax consequences? What's going on? And the answers might be contradictory. Maybe the people who did the planning originally aren't there anymore. So the family gets very confused along the way. And yet that then creates a dependence on the attorneys, because I need to reach out to the attorneys to help me through this process. And of course, they're charging me along the way. And so the more complicated and convoluted the planning gets, it might be very elegant in the form of maybe avoiding taxes, but you really need to understand the logistics and the dynamics of how it's going to work in reality.
Absolutely, because there's a lot of pieces in the puzzle. When it comes to other wealth managers, as opposed to how we approach things, how would you say our investment philosophy would still be applicable to those who are in that position where, I've accumulated all this wealth, I have more than enough? How does our approach differ from typical wealth management?
It's an interesting question, because there are almost unlimited ways for financial advisors and wealth managers and investment managers to invest money. I will say that in general, from a marketing perspective, there are so many people out there seeking these ultra high net worth or very high net worth types of clients. And they're almost always trying to differentiate themselves by making something as complicated as possible. The perception is that if I'm doing something incredibly complicated, that's worth more money. You will pay me higher fees. And yet at the same time, you can't do it on your own because it's too complicated. So we've seen a lot of those types of people where the outcome is not very good. It's really more of a marketing-based process. For us, what we want to do is have something simple, repeatable, and disciplined. So we have a process in place that it's not just, hey, the markets are very volatile right now, just stay the course. You'll hear that a lot, just stay the course. Well, staying the course might mean that you keep your investments in alignment with what you're trying to accomplish. That doesn't change unless your goals have changed or something for you has changed. But at the same time, we are looking at valuations. We are looking at how different markets are moving relative to each other. So asset allocation, diversification comes in, so that if one investment's now up here and the other investment's down here, we can systematically rebalance and bring those back into focus. We also will incorporate different factor investments. Now, these get a little bit more complicated, but they're just index funds that are emphasizing a certain factor. And when valuations get very high or conditions get very volatile, we will incorporate something called low volatility funds or min volatility funds. And as a diversifier, that again helps us mitigate any potential risk. So you want to be somewhere in the middle, in our opinion, between just stay the course and do nothing, and making something so complicated and convoluted that, again, you don't really understand how it works, and it's extremely expensive. We're trying to balance out those two different philosophical approaches.
Yeah, and I want to add that we take a proactive approach, so we don't wait till the markets are low and extremely volatile before we take action on how we incorporate those things into our portfolios. Anything else you want to add?
No, I just think it's great when we get any opportunity to sit down together and have a conversation like this, instead of doing it over Zoom like we normally do in our videos.
Yes, this was fun. Well, thank you. Until next time, have a good one.